Yahoo, I finally did it. I made it to tier 500 on Merch by Amazon. I'm reluctant sometimes to make videos like these because I don't want to come across as Mr. Braggy, and I don't want the channel to be all about me. However, I do get questions from people all the time, and they say, Zen, you crazy maniac, how the hell do you get to tier 500 on Merch by Amazon? And I can understand why they're asking, because when you first start out with Merch by Amazon, when you first sign up, they stick you in purgatory, which is known as tier 10. And that means you have 10 slots for your designs, 10 only for your designs. Now you can put them on 66 different products each, but that's only 660 active products off of tier 10. Now, if you make enough sales, for example, if you make 10 sales in tier 10, they will wave their magic wand and they'll throw you up to tier 25, which means you can put 25 designs up on Amazon for sale. And then eventually you get to tier 100, and then eventually you get to tier 500. And there's even tiers after that too. There's actually a tier 1000, meaning you can have 1,000 designs. There's tier 2000, and then I guess you're gonna have to quit your job if you reach tier 4000 or tier 8000, because that's like a lot of designs, right? I can't even imagine uploading that many designs. So right now, I'm gonna walk through how I made it all the way to tier 500, and I've got 5 tips on how you can get to Merch by Amazon tier 500. Let's jump in. Okay, so tip number 1 is to fill all of the slots with your best designs. So right now, I've got my dashboard up, and this is tier 500. I've got 65 of 200 products submitted. So I can do 65 or 66 a day, depending on what I activate. Published designs, I've only got 115 out of 500. So I need to get up to 500 designs published for me to even have a chance to move to the next level. Now, I know this isn't written down anywhere. There's no policy for it, but I noticed this when I was in tier 10, when I was in tier 25, when I was in tier 100. You don't move up unless you've actually got all the slots filled. So I would encourage you to get as close as possible to filling up your slots. If they just sit like the way I've got it right now, I'm not just going to magically move up. I do want to point out as well, recent sales in the last 7 days, I've actually haven't sold anything. So even when you're on tier 500, there's a chance you're going to have slowdowns. You're not going to sell a ton. So what you really need to do is pay attention to these other tips to try to increase your chances of making sales. And I'm doing this too. So I'm not saying this to be Mr. I'm wonderful, but more, hey, I'm trying to grow and develop as well. Tip number 2 is to utilize keywords in your listings. So here I've got an example on Amazon on how this works. I'm on Amazon.com. I've typed in funny raccoon t-shirt, and I'm just going to simply open up a couple of the top results. So if I thought this was a great niche and I wanted to get into it and I wanted to create my own raccoon designs, I'm going to take a look at what they've got sitting here as far as keywords. So I'm going to take a look here at these thumbnails. And we can see right now, there's very little actually mentioning raccoons. It's just up here, rack and roll t-shirt, that's it. Raccoon shirt, funny raccoon graphic tee, they've just got it just listed right here. So I would take a note of this. I'm not gonna say copy it exactly. So just notice that these bullets don't necessarily translate into search results, but these up here seem to. I'm gonna go to this one, the mountain men's raccoon face. Same thing here. I can see that there's nothing here in the details that shows the raccoon. It's all right there. And here's my third example, live fast, eat trash. You'll notice this does say the words funny raccoon in it, although it doesn't say it on the t-shirt. So make sure that when you're listing stuff on Amazon, think about what the customer is actually going to Google. I didn't type in this case, live fast, eat trash. I typed in funny raccoon, and this was the third best result that showed up. Tip number 3 is to have fun creating. And look, I know as soon as I say this, some people are going to roll their eyes and they're going to go, yeah, you're preaching rah-rah. But I want to make a point that when you're uploading hundreds and hundreds of designs, and you're also making them either in Photoshop or you're using Kittl or Creative Fabrica or some sort of resource, it's a lot of work and it can be a bit of a grind. And it takes hours and hours and days to get this stuff up and properly keyworded into Merch by Amazon. So the key is to actually want to do it. So I've got a very specific tip here, and this isn't just me saying, buck up and do it. If you're playing some sort of video game, stop immediately. If you're on social media, stop immediately. The reason that people struggle, myself included, to do things in their lives like upload a bunch of designs is because we replace fun stuff with other fun stuff. So if you originally got into print on demand because it was fun and now you're struggling, it's because your brain would rather play a video game or go on social media or do whatever versus sitting your butt in your seat and actually uploading designs. And so what I would recommend you do is turn off the video games, turn off the social media, turn on the music, and sit down and enjoy an hour an evening, when you can, uploading, and it's actually a pleasurable experience. Your brain will be like, oh, this is actually fun. This is rewarding. Maybe you listen to one of your favorite podcasts or you listen to your favorite music. I think it's really important that you want to reward your brain when you're doing print on demand. Tip number 4 is the dreaded niche marketing. And I've got a great tool if you're interested. It's called Insight Factory. There's actually a free version of this. So I'm going to put a link in the video description below. Just a heads up, it is an affiliate link. That just means if you purchase something, I would receive a small commission. But I do want to point out there's a free version of Insight Factory. You don't have to pay anything if you don't want to. Here's an example. I've gone into Etsy trending search items, and I know it's Etsy versus Merch by Amazon, but I just wanted to show you that you can go in here and you can see different ideas on what's selling on Etsy. So here's an example over on the right hand side. It says heterosexual shirt, heterosexuality in this economy, kind of funny design. This will give you ideas on what's actually selling. Now look, there are going to be trademarked items. So for example, here's Little Mermaid shirt. You probably wouldn't want to upload that to Merch by Amazon because they would spank you and say this is completely illegal and you're not supposed to do that. But here's another one, Pride Skeleton t-shirt, hot sale signal this week. And we can see here 38 listings on the first page had sales today. So here we can see great sales signal. 40 of 61 listings on the first page of Etsy have had at least one sale. Here we can see 7-day sales, 14 sales. There's the design there. So I know it's not Merch by Amazon. It's not the exact same, but this is my point, is you want to find something popular somewhere, and then you would use that information and translate it over to Merch by Amazon. So it's just one idea. There's more tools than just Insight Factory, but this is a great place to start. Here's another tool that I use called Merch Informer. And again, same disclaimer as before, affiliate link. If you buy something, I'll make a small commission, blah, blah, blah. But I did want to point out, this one is specifically designed for Amazon. So that's kind of cool. So I'm just going to close this out and I'm going to go over here to the competition checker and I'm going to type in some sort of a keyword. I'm going to type in, for example, funny raccoon, and I'll click search. Now it's going to search the US marketplace over here, but I could change that if I wanted. There's other marketplaces as well. And we can see here it's giving me a total grade of B. It's like a letter grade system. F means it's terrible, A means it's wonderful. You can see the keyword is good. The total products online is a lot, and the products with the bestseller rating is 211. So overall, it's saying this is okay. It's also giving you good keywords down here below, and it's also giving you different best-selling options. It's showing you actual real-life examples. Let's take a look at bestseller number 2. Let's Get Trashed. We can see here 9 estimated sales, and the average best-selling is 7 moving sales. And what I really like about this is if I click on the actual title, it's going to open up a new window in Amazon, and it's going to show the actual shirt with the actual keywords. So we can see here, you don't need to write some novel in the bullets in order to make it appear and actually get sales. This is what's mainly driving the search results on Amazon. Not always, but most of the time. So I'd recommend put something in the bullets, but you don't need to have this huge novel, which I've seen on some shirts. And tip number 5 is to really pay attention to the pricing. So here I've got an example on Merch by Amazon, insert witty comment here. That's my hilarious t-shirt design. I'm going to go to standard t-shirt. Now here's where people sometimes run into problems. You have to remember that you're competing with other designs on Merch by Amazon. So do you really want it at $19.99? If so, it's a $4.89 royalty. You could go as low as $16, and that's $1.93. You could even go as low as $15. It does adjust it, and it's weird. It doesn't adjust it exactly down, but you could actually price this t-shirt down to $14 in this example, where you could have it for a 46-cent royalty. So what I'd recommend you do is that you price your products as low as possible. And I know this is controversial, but you price your products as low as possible to try to make a sale. You basically undercut your competition. Because remember, on Amazon, you're not just competing with other Merch by Amazon sellers, you're competing with sellers from all over the world and sometimes from multiple different countries. So you want to try to make it as competitive as possible. Now, eventually, you do want to make some sort of money, but you're going to probably make it through volume when you reach tier 500, tier 1000. So it's a suggestion. Not everybody likes to do this. I personally think you should price it low because that way it increases your chances of making a sale and getting out of tier 10 purgatory. I really hope you found this video helpful. I'm not saying you have to take every tip and completely run with it. Of course, use your brain and you want to have fun and you want to do it your way. These are just suggestions. This is what I've done over the last 3 years or so to make it into tier 500. I'm not saying I'm the best on Merch by Amazon by any stretch. If you go into a Reddit thread, for example, there's people making thousands of dollars a month. They're in tier 8,000. It's crazy, but good for them. I'm learning too, and I'm growing, and I hope you are as well. Here's another video on how you can supercharge your print-on-demand journey.